Hello, and welcome back to Unapologetically Athletic, where we dive into the world of women's sports, past, present, and future. I'm your host, Kate Dahlhauser, and today we're stepping up to the plate for a conversation about softball. From the University of Oklahoma's record-breaking dominance in the recent years to the return of softball in the 2028 Summer Olympics, there is so much happening in this space right now. In this episode, we'll break down OU's four-peat, talk about the impact of softball being back in the Olympics, and dig into the ongoing challenges players face, especially the lack of a solid professional path compared to baseball. Let's get into it. Softball has been a very dominant sport at my time at OU. A student at OU, and every single year in my college career, they have gone to the Women's College World Series and they've won. Their first win was in 2000. I wasn't even born yet. And their most recent was last season in 2024 when they won for the fourth year in a row. Softball has been such a powerhouse at Oklahoma that students at OU even joke, we're not a football school anymore, we're a softball school, we're a women's sports school. And I love that. I think it's great more people at OU are aware that women's sports is very dominant. I mean, women's gymnastics, women's basketball that I've talked about in the last episodes. Softball is dominant at OU, and key players like Jada Coleman, she finished her career with 279 hits, 261 runs, a .702 batting average, and has stolen 106 bases. That's just at OU. According to Sooner Stats, her senior year, she had a batting average of 0.835, which is impressive. Jada was also a team leader. She very much led the team, and you saw this a lot in social media. I followed her on social media. I still do follow her on social media, and her journey has just been amazing. Another one is Tiare Jennings. She was a powerhouse for softball as well. Jada and Tiare were right after each other on the batting line. I believe it was Tiare and then Jada, or it was flipped, but they were right after each other in the lineup. When I watched the games, I knew that once one of them stepped up, the other one was going to knock it out of the park and do well. And that's what happened a lot. The softball season starts in February and ends in June when they go to the World Series. The softball season is very long, and that doesn't even include fall ball. It's fall ball, basically a lot of the fall semester, and then spring semester's all softball season. So it's very interesting. Last season, Tiare had 25 home runs. That's impressive. 25 home runs is pretty good for the amount of games that they have. I'm not 100% sure how many games they have, but another one, Jordy Ball, really helped the Sooners in their 2023 win. She was pitching back-to-back games. I went to game 2 of the 2023 World Series against Florida State, and I was in awe. That was my first softball game I had been to. I know that's a crime. That was my first softball game I went to, but it was an amazing atmosphere. The World Series is in Oklahoma City because that's where the Softball Hall of Fame is. The crowd was electric. OU softball has a fantastic following. They just got Love's Field. Love's Field can hold 4,200 fans. Their old softball stadium, the Merida Hayes Fields, I apologize if I said the name wrong, only held about 2,000 fans. This is a 2,200 person increase. It's over doubled. That is a huge step. That just shows the dominance and the impact that OU softball had, and the impact Patti Gasso has. Patti Gasso has been at OU for 30 years. Patti Gasso has been at OU since 1995. In just 5 years, she got OU's first national championship. OU has had 8 NCAA Women's College World Series championship wins. They have won 8 Women's College World Series, and all of them have been under Patti Gasso. Patti Gasso has been a dominant force in OU. She's hard on them. I've been in press conferences with Coach Gasso, and she is hard on them. She has an expectation for them. She knows what she wants to see on the field. And in this season, OU has done not as well as they have done in last seasons. At one point, they were number 5 in the nation. But after beating Texas, they went back to number 1 in the nation. And this team is a very new team this year. They lost a ton of their championship girls because from 2021 to 2024, a majority of those girls and their key players stayed at OU their entire career. Some of those girls don't know what it's like to not win a World Series, which is impressive, insane, is crazy. And that says a lot about not only the program and the players, but Patti Gasso as a coach. I mean, Patti Gasso in September got a statue of her, and she's one of the only female statues on campus. And I think that says a lot about her as well, and her as a coach, and her impact at OU. On top of that, Patti Gasso is going to be the Team USA softball head coach. Softball will be returning to the Summer Olympics in 2028. Los Angeles is hosting, and softball will be back. Softball and baseball will be back in the Olympics. Softball first debuted in the Olympics in 1996 and then was removed after 2008. It briefly returned in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, but Paris did not bring it back for the 2024 Olympics, but the 2028 Olympics will be in LA. Every country is able to add some sports or take away some sports, and Los Angeles took away breakdancing, which we saw how that was at the Paris Olympics, and they added softball and baseball back, which I think is huge. It's really big. Softball is big in the US, it's big in America, it's big on the collegiate level, and Patti Gasso is going to be the head coach for the softball team. I think that also, like I said, says a lot about her and the impact of LA hosting. It's a US based games in 3 years now, since it's 2025. It'll be a US based games. I'm very excited to watch the Olympics in the US because all of the games are going to be around US time zones. So a ton of people in the same time zones as the US or have the same time zones as we do in the United States will be able to watch games live and in real time. And I'm very excited to watch that because as I've gotten older, my love of sports has just grown. And from 2008 to 2028, my want to watch the Olympics has just gone up since then. And I'm very excited to watch all of the Olympic Games, or as many as I possibly can. And this is a huge moment for American softball as well, because softball will be getting so much media recognition, and they will be getting so much recognition from all over the world on the international level. And I'm very excited to watch that and watch how the softball team does and how other nations do in softball. I'm very excited. The Olympics have always been one of my favorites, and I've grown to be a softball fan. I have always been a huge sports fan for everything. But softball really started to grow on me, and I started to really watch softball more and more as time went on and as I got older. I'm just very excited to see where softball goes in the future, and I'm excited to see just the evolution of the sport. OU has made softball a really big name in this country. The Olympics and the return of softball is going to be really big on an international level and media coverage, and it'll get more people excited about the sport. I think everyone should be excited about the sport. Softball is very entertaining to watch. Softball and baseball have their similarities and they have their differences. Some key differences is the size of the ball. The baseball is smaller and the softball is bigger. The way they pitch. Softball pitches underhand, baseball's overhand. Another thing is the size of the field. The baseball field is smaller than the softball field. The pitching mound is flat. It's a circle. It's not an actual like little mound, a hill. I personally think softball players can play baseball. I think a great example of women being able to play baseball is Monet Davis. She played on a minor league baseball team because she didn't have a softball team, and they put her in baseball and she did great. She did amazing. According to MLB.com, in an article that was posted on March 10th, 2024, last fall, Davis began a new chapter of her life in New York by starting a master's program in sports management at Columbia. She is currently at Columbia getting her master's in sports management. I think that is amazing, and she is a great example of women that are able to play baseball. Girls that can play baseball and succeed, and she was great. I remember everyone was talking about her. It was really fun to watch her on that field, I remember. Now, softball doesn't have the same career professional pathway as baseball does, but there have been attempts, and there are current attempts at a professional league. One that we are seeing is the women's professional fast pitch. There have been numerous Sooners in the WPF. Some players that drafted in 2023 include Grace Lyons, who played with Texas Smoke in the women's professional fast pitch. And then another professional team in the WPF that a lot of OU girls go to is the Oklahoma City Sparks. We've seen Haley Lee go there. We've seen Alex Storako go there. Another notable Sooner that has played for Athletes Unlimited, which is another professional league for softball, was Jocelyn Allo. She was also a part of the Oklahoma City Sparks, and she played for a little bit with the Savannah Bananas. She is another example of a female athlete that played baseball. Jocelyn Allo was a powerhouse at OU. She is still a name in the softball community and baseball community as well. I think with the rise of social media as well, these softball players have been able to get a name for themselves, and they've been able to bring more awareness to softball and professional softball. It wasn't until I came to OU and started following all these OU softball players that I learned there was a professional softball league. I didn't know that. And these softball players that are going on to professional leagues are promoting WPF or Athletes Unlimited and are expanding people's knowledge on softball. People that followed Jocelyn Allo, people that followed Kenzie Hansen, Tiare Jennings, Alex Storako, they are learning and seeing the impact softball has had, and they are seeing the professionalism in softball and how there is a professional league. It may not be well known and it may not be broadcast anywhere, but it's a thing and it's here. I think that's very important because there is limited visibility, there is low pay. I think OU softball and even UCLA softball has also been a powerhouse. College softball has really made a name for the sport as a whole. You've seen it in UCLA. The Bruins have the most NCAA championships with 12. They have 13 Women's College World Series championships, and they've had 22 championship appearances, as well as 36 Women's College World Series appearances. The Bruins and the Sooners, UCLA and OU, have really elevated softball. UCLA and OU have really brought a lot of attention nationally to the sport. I never played. I wish I did, but I've seen the stories and I've seen the impact softball has had on these girls and the power of the game. Softball, like other sports, encourages teamwork and leadership and precision. It takes a lot of endurance. Softball is often underappreciated when compared to baseball because everyone knows baseball. So many people know baseball. But I feel a handful or half, if that, really watch softball and follow softball. I feel that more people should watch it. I think it's an entertaining sport. It's fun to watch. Just like baseball, it's fun for the whole family. And it's growing in popularity. It's growing in fan bases. I just think it's going to take more time for people to really appreciate the sport as much as they appreciate baseball. I look forward to the journey softball has in these recent years and the journey it has at the Olympics and even past that. I am very hopeful for not just softball, but for women's sports as a whole to get more recognition and more media coverage and more respect. Women's sports has impacted millions of girls' lives in great ways, in bad ways, in tough ways. The struggles and successes in softball and every sport shows the true testament, the ability, and what women have been working towards their whole career. Softball has taken the world by storm. Oklahoma and the dominance they've had in recent years, the return of softball in the Olympics, the professional aspect of the sport, and just the rise in popularity and the players that have had an impact on the sport continue to make a name and continue to tell their story, to fight for equality, and to prove that women can be and are just as athletic as men. Women can play baseball. We've seen it before. It's only a matter of time before softball gets the recognition that it deserves. Thank you for listening to Unapologetically Athletic. I hope you enjoyed. This podcast has been fun to make. I will post more videos as time goes on. I've really enjoyed putting these episodes together. You can listen to this episode, past episodes, and hopefully future episodes on Spotify. Or if you wish to watch it, click on the link in the description to take you to our YouTube channel. See you next time, and don't forget to be unapologetically athletic.